The 2025 Polynesia Event is here, bringing back the board game style minigame where we must travel around islands to gather resources. When you open up the interface for the first time, there's a lot to look at and you might find yourself feeling overwhelmed. But don't worry, it's actually really simple, and with just a little strategy on your side, you can lock down all the rewards you want out of this event. If you played the event last year, be aware that there had been quite a few adjustments made that change how it should be played. What's still the same, however, is the main event window. When you open it up, you'll see your current number of seashells, which are the main event currency needed to roll the die down below. Next to this, you'll see your current number of island resources, the second type of currency in this event. These are used to upgrade the various islands around the board. To the right of the die, you'll see your progress towards the grand prizes, and to the left, you'll see the current running daily special. You'll also see a list of milestone quests, but we'll talk more about these later. Rolling the die costs 150 seashells and moves your board to the right however many spaces you just rolled. You'll notice that the board has several different tiles that your boat can land on. Each board will consist of 15 islands, 5 stone islands, 5 fruit islands, and 5 wood islands. Passing or landing on these islands will grant you their resource. These resources are then needed to upgrade the various islands. Here's the cost of upgrading each of the 3 types of islands. You'll notice a change to last year is that the islands you are currently on will now cost less to upgrade. This is actually a really important change, and we'll talk more about how this impacts strategies later on. When you do decide to upgrade an island, however, it will increase the number of resources that island produces. Here's a chart displaying those numbers. Alongside the islands, the board will also have several special tiles. The grand prize tile will grant 2 grand prize progress if you pass it, and 4 if you land directly on it. This tile also has what is called your cycle counter directly above it. This essentially keeps track of how many times you've fully progressed around the board. Each board will also have 1 daily special tile, which will grant you whatever today's daily special is. Finally, each board will also have 3 thunderstorm tiles. These have several possible effects, which can include moving your board forward or backwards 3 tiles, transporting you to a random tile, increasing your cycle counter by 1, or giving you an island resource or bronze reward chest. Note that the thunderstorm tiles were nerfed this year and no longer have the possibility of transporting you to the daily special tile. While all this information is great, it doesn't actually answer the question of how you get rewards and progress, and that's where the milestones come in. Each board you play will have 4 milestone quests, and each will grant different rewards. The bronze chests can give various amounts of coins, food, and goods. Silver chests give research points, barrack refills, various Polynesia customizations, puzzle pieces, and gears. Gold chests give very similar rewards to that of bronze and silver, just now in higher quantities. You'll periodically complete these milestones as you roll the die and upgrade islands. Once you fully upgrade all 15 resource islands, as well as travel around the board a total of 5 times, you get 12 grand prize progress and the board resets. Note that you won't want to stay on one island. Last year it was possible to only play 1 fully leveled board with 1 level 2 island, but with the changes to the milestones now requiring you to travel around the board 5 times, you'll be forced to reset the board if you want to get rewards and progress. This means no more camping on one board to get the extra island resources. So this brings the inevitable question of what's the best strategy? Well, to answer this, we need to talk about the cycle counter. Without a doubt, the 2 biggest bottlenecks preventing us from clearing boards are island resources and the number of seashells we need to spend to complete the milestones. This means that our goal is to find the cheapest way to fully level boards. To do this, we need to play our first board of the event very differently from the rest. Generally, you do not want your cycle counter to ever pass 5. As past this point, you are no longer getting progress towards the milestones, and thus are wasting seashells not getting grand prize progress. However, for our first board of the event, it's actually okay to go past this number. Let me explain. Our 2 goals for each board we play is to 1. Travel around the board a total of 5 times, and 2. Gather 250 of each island resource. Why 250? Well, because to fully level all 15 islands, it will require 250 of each resource. By ensuring that we have this amount before moving on to the next board, we can guarantee that we never run out of island resources, because we'll already be getting the maximum yield from each island before we begin rolling on the new board. This means that by the time we travel around the board 5 more times, we'll have more than enough island resources to repeat the process. So how should we play the first board? Really simple. Our goal is to get 250 of each island resource, which will require us to travel around the board roughly 6 to 7 times. If you played the event last year, this amount could be less, as island resources left over from last year will carry over to this year. However, let's just assume that you're starting with nothing. Your goal should be to level as many islands as possible with the discount that you get from standing on them. Preferably, you want to have enough island resources to fully level the island, as it's not guaranteed that you'll land on it again. Refer to the previously shown chart to see the cost to level islands. Once you start to build up a strong supply of resources, begin to spend on islands without the discount, preferably ones that you have a chance of landing on with your next roll. Once you get close to fully leveling all the islands, ensure that you leave one island on level 2 to prevent the board from resetting. From here, continue to roll until you reach 250 of each resource. Just keep into account the amount you'll need to upgrade the final island. Once you reach this amount, upgrade the final island and move on to the next board. From here on out, you should have enough island resources to fully level all 15 islands on each board you play for the rest of the event. In which case, all you need to worry about is traveling around the board 5 times. One final important tip is to save your seashells to play boards on days with daily specials you really want. There's no real benefit to rolling consistently, so save all your seashells for days with good dailies. As per usual, this event will bring the standard quest line with 10 parts. It's become the norm for these quests to get much more challenging the further you progress through them. Watch out for quests asking you to research technologies, scout and acquire regions, pay large sums of units, and collect many productions. As always, I recommend you check the wiki ahead of time to plan for these quests. I highly recommend you try and complete the entire quest line, as the extra seashells you get from it are a massive help in completing as many boards as possible. Alongside the many seashells you'll get, completing the questline will also give you 5 Sacred Marae evolution tokens and 2 exclusive portraits. In terms of progress goals, to get the Marae to level 12, you'll need to reach 285 progress, which is achievable for free with an Alhambra. If you don't have an Alhambra, it's not as guaranteed that you'll reach the 285 progress mark, but can always pick up additional evolution tokens as daily specials when they come up. Speaking of daily specials, this event has a lot to offer in terms of rewards and progress. As already stated, the main event building, the Sacred Marae, will be up for grabs, but I don't recommend focusing on it. It provides very little in the form of previous era goods, culture, and health for siege units. The collector's building of this event steps things up a notch, producing current era goods in exchange for research points. You'll be able to win 10 pieces as daily specials of the 65 needed to assemble it. If that doesn't interest you, the Drum Tower from last year's event will also make an appearance, and it's definitely worth picking up if you don't have it. It has a chance of producing squad healing items, which can come in handy for completing things like multi-wave event quest battles and the treasure hunt. In what's becoming rather standard for events, you'll also be able to pick up another city expansion. I recommend every player try and pick this up. Finally, lots of Polynesia customizations will also be available as daily specials, so if you were unable to complete your collections last year, you're in luck. For the full list of daily specials, be sure to check the wiki. Link will be in the description. This event is doing something different with leagues this time around. Instead of your grand prize progress directly determining your league placement, now your cycle counter will be what determines this. Unfortunately for free-to-play players, this doesn't mean much, since it requires seashells to roll the die and thus move around the board. players can just buy more seashells and increase their cycle counter rather easily. This means your league placement will be determined by a combination of how many seashells you have and RNG. Not a great combination. If you are someone who's looking to spend in this event, I unfortunately can't give you a solid recommendation. Due to the event looking rather complicated on the surface, it could result in players skipping the event and thus lowering league thresholds. However, in all actuality, it is a rather simple event to spend in, as players can just buy more seashells and easily increase their cycle counter. So if you're someone who's on the fence about whether you should spend or not, I'd wait till the last day of the event. That way you can see where your server's leaks lie and make a decision based on that. But that just about covers everything in what's becoming a rather long video. Don't forget to check the wiki linked below and leave a comment if you have any questions or want to share your strategies for the event. Good luck in the event, and as always, I'll see you all next time.